Welcome to the Dope and Tape Show. We have Joshua. He's from the AFSA. Super excited. I did give him my number earlier in Vegas, but evidently I wrote down the wrong one. So my bad. But I'm glad we got you in here now, man. Welcome.
Appreciate it.
Let me shut that off so there's no
Thanks for having
background.
me.
Yeah, thanks for
No,
joining us, bro.
absolutely. Thank you. It's awesome. So you can kind of give us a little, sneak peek of what we're going to get into in September because we're going down to AFSA in Orlando, ready to go. We were at Vegas and we were looking at it as what should we do? How should we approach this in theory, And I think like me and Bobby worked really, really well together.
For
Yeah.
sure. That's definitely true. And it
And
was also a learning experience. It was work, but it was like we were learning. Like we've never done anything like that before. And we're hearing like AFSA is probably going to be more just sprinkler orientated and a little bit more tight.
I
Yeah.
think we can slow down a little bit too.
Slow down. And we're going for the duration. We'll be there like every day, so
Yeah.
Awesome. So from opening party all the way through.
that's it. And yeah, we're super excited. So anyone who's just joining, thank you for joining us. We currently have 418 subscriptions. That is awesome. Don't forget to hit the button if you haven't yet and hit the like button. This is Josh from AFSA joining us live. What'd you say down in Texas?
Down in Dallas. Yeah.
Down in Texas. I just saw a video coming out of Dallas, Baylor, where like a homeless guy opened up a bunch of hose valves.
Nice.
Up
That's awesome.
on the upper levels. He was like he was escaping or something. The description was kind of vague, but he ran up and he was just opening the 2.5 fire department valves all the way as he ran up and flooded like every level. ICU, the NICU, the ER, surgery, the cath labs, and then like all the nurses and the doctors were making these memes like with the Titanic pictures and like they said that they walked to the patient with their cart and everything, and then they came out of the room and it was like a tidal wave coming down, and it was there was some pretty good
Jeez,
memes
I
coming
bet
from
it
that.
was. I'm sure there's a big like 1,000 GPM minimum pump attached
I
to
think
that.
that they said it was like a 14 story and it's in Dallas. I mean, I'd imagine it'd be a little bit bigger than that, don't you think?
That'd be huge. Well, I was saying like minimum,
Yeah,
for a hospital.
like what?
I never seen anything lower than 1,000
So
on a
there's
hospital.
videos I shared too. I'll reshare them after because now we're talking about it again. Everyone's gonna want to see it.
That's wild. I think it was like what 110 in Texas today.
Yep, that's normal. That's
It's dry though,
But
right?
it's dry heat like
nah.
Las Vegas
What's
and
your
stuff.
humid? What's the
It
humidity?
I don't know the humidity.
We had
I couldn't tell
I
you,
think we had
but
75% humidity today and it was like 90. It's like it feels way worse than it felt in Vegas when it was 100.
Yeah, so we were 93 today and we were at 60%
That's like
humidity.
death.
Like I had to run early this morning. Normally I run in the afternoon because I lift in the morning, but I was like, there's no way I can
It's like
run in the
heavy
afternoon
air,
today.
man. The
it's less humid
Oh,
dehumidifier.
than in
it's
New
tough.
England, but it still gets zicky.
Yeah, well, I bet.
105 to 105.
Woo!
It's bad.
112 in
So
Indio. Oh yeah, I saw that. Darian shared 112 degrees doing inspections. That's crazy.
did I tell you I became a criminal last weekend?
Oh no.
You
Did
hit
I
me
tell
with
you
that. You
that?
hit me with that briefly.
Yeah, so I got my first criminal citation and Sarah was with me too and she got one as well.
Huh.
And
I don't know
so
if
what
I can associate
we
with you
went
anymore if
on
you're a criminal.
dude, I know. It's on my thankfully I consulted our legal team and I got it reduced off my record, but
Continue without a
um
finding?
no, I
I
still
know.
have a fine.
I'm just
It
fucking.
was reduced, but it's not on the record anymore. So me, my two sons, Sarah, my wife, some friends, we went to a hike here in Georgia. It's up in the mountains and it's treacherous. Like it is intense. Like on the way down, there was a guy about a mile in, like puking his brains out.
They
Like
find you
couldn't
for
handle it. It
hiking?
was like, yeah, because they want you to take a class before so they can tell you how much water to bring and what to expect and if you can physically do this and like because they have to let's see the weekend before, so
This
2 weeks
can't be
ago.
real.
No, it is. They did five rescues, one of them with a helicopter.
Just make
Is
those
it
people
just that
pay.
location or the whole state?
It's very intense. Like you're talking about, like when you go down the hill, you're just climbing down rocks, and it's a 40-degree slope. And on my Apple Watch, it was like it was point eight of a mile. So almost a mile at 40-degree slopes on rocks.
So they had to rescue you and you got
So
fined?
no, I was just fine.
I don't.
Bro, my 6-year-old did it in sandals. Open toe sandals.
Oh
Like
my goodness.
so the big thing is our friend brought a dog. Well, you're not supposed to have dogs there. So someone like snitched on us,
Oh,
like, hey, they got a
damn
dog. And then
snitchers on the
and
mountain.
they Sarah had like a green like Gymshark gym outfit. We were done getting the water too. So someone called and said, there's these people with a dog,
And
and
the
it's a
bright
dog
green
and this
outfit.
girl with a green jumpsuit, she said. So
Oh,
so we get down
bam.
there, we swim for a while, I take a nap, get some more water because I have one of this filtration, so I filled all of our waters back up. We get outside and there's the game warden, state game warden, and a police officer. And they're like, we've been waiting on y'all for 3 hours. I said, well, you should have told me you were here. I would have came earlier, you know?
Damn.
And then he kept talking about a permit. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, well, you missed 3 signs coming in. This is very serious. And I was like, let's just cut to the trace. None of us have permits. So like, what are we doing now? Like, so we
Big
talked and
trouble.
everything. And I was, yeah, the police officer had a sweet thing for Sarah. So I was hoping he would be the ticket guy, but no, it was the it was the game warden, and he was personally down there 5 times the week before, so he was like super serious about it and all that.
Florencio,
So
shout out to CFSA. Tommy, what up?
the
Yeah,
charge is
freaking
criminal
beast.
AFSA in the
trespassing
house.
on a state park.
Damn, you're not setting a good example.
No, like, could you
And you're not doing
imagine?
this from a cell.
Yeah. Oh
Dude, I
yeah,
got a
you in jail right now? Live from the crock pot.
live from the crop pot. Yeah.
All right, let's go
This room
talk.
gets
Let's do
so
some
hot.
sprinkler talk now.
Yeah, I was
No,
just kind of
no, no
letting
more of that
telling
no
a
more of that criminal activity.
yeah.
We're not about that
I
here.
was telling it. I just wanted to tell a story while everybody comes in and
Bam. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
and
perfect.
all that. Yeah.
After you tell me you're coming to convention to stir things up and you're gonna go illegal hiking there.
That's criminal. We're coming down.
That's it.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. We got Josh from AFSA. So yeah, we're going down there in September. What is it? It's the 5th to the 9th? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
We're
And
super excited.
we're staying pretty
It's
close
gonna be
by.
fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be super. So like, what can we expect?
It is definitely gonna be a little bit more intimate. I guess that's the setting for sprinkler people, right? So there's plenty of educational paths. So you can go designer path, your ITM path, AHJ path. It gets everybody involved. All of your expo and convention stuff going to be sprinkler related. I'm pretty sure that we're doing our opening party at Hogmead. So if you got a wand from past trips, you know what house you're in. That should be fun. A lot
Okay.
of just getting together, chit chatting, of course, couple beers. But
Is that like a bar?
Hogmead is a like oh you if you've seen Harry Potter at all, but
It's
this is a
it's a
little
Harry
town
Potter thing.
set
That's
up.
what I'm saying. I think I got one of them
But
wands. My kid's got one of them
yeah,
wands. Yeah,
that breaks
Oh,
I'll
within
bring my
10
Harry
minutes.
Potter wand and wand it up.
And
it's in Universal.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yep.
What day
So
is that? Is that on Wednesday?
This is good
yeah,
info. So the opening
you
ceremony
look
of the
here.
convention is in Universal.
Yeah. Well, not the opening party, right? So then we have. I'm not a
Opening
big
party.
date guy. So we
Well,
got
I want to be there for that.
Wednesday the
What
6th,
day?
and then our special events that night, right, from 7:30 to 11:30.
Okay, we can. Oh,
But there's seminars that
the
day.
special events at 10 o'clock at night. Wednesday.
7:30 to 11:30 at night. 7:30 p.
Oh yeah, we got that,
I
Bry.
mean, we could probably get early
So
flights.
No. Yeah, we could, but
it's
we'll
Wednesday. It starts the 6th. You'll be there,
yeah, we
Yeah.
arrive.
I think.
We can go anytime we want on Wednesday. Like we got a room
I mean,
Wednesday
we're just gonna
night.
fly
I
down
booked
there.
I booked a room Wednesday night. I was planning on working Wednesday, I think, but like sneaking like I'll get a ride from a buddy to work and then I can just sneak right into the airport after work and catch a flight. It's a much quicker flight than going to Vegas.
Yeah, so the 6th to
For sure.
the 9th.
The 6th to the 9th.
Yeah, it'll
So
be good. But if you take a look at our schedule on the firesprinkler.org website, it's just full of seminars, people that have done everything in the industry. So it's good. If you need CEUs and things like that for certs, so we got networking lunches and breakfast going on. It's going to be a little bit more intimate of a setting. Still, always a good show out. A lot of people show up to this.
Super excited.
Just a good time.
yeah, definitely interested in the networking. Get in there and try to, get our name out there. And
Yeah,
before you knew of us, like I guess we met in, at Vegas, but before then, did you hear about us or anything like that? Yeah.
yeah. There's this was a while back now. Bobby, he had some pre-action valve. I think that something was going on, and we kind of chit chatted back and forth about what was going on with that valve. And I've seen the show a few times.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, I've been chatting with Josh for a
good
while in the
stuff.
DMs. It's been supporting
The
us for a
That's
while.
awesome.
which I'm apologize right now to follow up after Donna and Raquel. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Some good stories, bro.
Yeah, they were great, weren't they?
That was awesome.
Those are two inspirational women back to back on the
Yeah.
show.
That was awesome. Yeah. So we how this kind of started, I don't know if you've heard, but just one day I was having trouble with pressure loss in a hotel and I was calling some people and then I linked up with him early on Instagram. I just called him. There's a call setting on the messaging, just called him. And I was like, "Hey, I got this and this and this." And I
That was
called him
my
again.
first ever Instagram call. I'm like, Instagram's calling.
Yeah.
I thought this was like, I thought I was gonna be getting paid because it didn't say like Brian was calling. It said Instagram was calling. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be sick.
This is it.
And then you click on it, it said Brian.
Some white guy from Atlanta.
Did I make it? Is this
Yeah.
you, Mark Zuckerberg? He's like, no, I think I got a leak.
Yeah, so afterwards, I called him back that night, and I was like, "Man, I appreciate you taking my call. Everything, this is what I actually found the problem. It was this, and this is how I figured it out, and everything." And then we started talking like there's nothing like this in the industry. There's no community. So that was the whole driving force for Dope and Tape.
Yeah, there's no the online community and what you've brought together is fantastic. The communication of different trades is a massive thing we need. But your experience with Bobby, I think, also brings in understanding to other people. Like that's common in the industry, right? You've got some people you could call up your competitors
Yeah,
sometimes, right, and be like, "Hey, I don't know what's going on here.
Right, you always have
Give me a
someone to
hand."
call, right, Brian? Like,
Yeah,
I always, even if
yeah.
I
And
don't know, I can find out.
yeah,
That's what we
it
always
was
say.
cool. A guy called me today. He hit me up on LinkedIn and saw some of our videos and everything. He's in Kentucky, just got into sales. And is like, "Can you give me some advice on how to sell, how to market myself as a salesman, how to go about it?" And so we talked for about 30 minutes
I got
going over it, and
Elon.
it
I
was
got
cool.
Elon all day on the Zuckburst Elon.
Elon's calling you now.
Elon
No,
Musk on the
no,
fight.
no. Well,
Then
Florencio wants to
Elon's
know.
mom said that he can't do it.
Florencio wants to know who you got, Zuck or Elon.
Me?
Both of yous.
Oh,
Elon's gonna be big. He's a bigger guy.
Yeah, he does the
he
walrus. He said. You ever see his video where he does the walrus? He's just gonna lay on Zuck.
he just I'd go Elon.
But there's zero cardio. I'm sure if it happens, then he would.
Yeah, but Zuck's
I
been
think he would go
training. Like, there's
deep into
videos
it.
of him doing like jujitsu, and he's been like doing it now for years. So maybe he'll just choke him
Well,
out.
he's so methodical and so smart. So I'm sure anything he'll do, he'll just maximize the effort and efficiency.
I think we just put Floyd in the middle of both of them and see what happens.
I think that that's going to be the biggest money making fight of all time, probably, because people who don't watch fights normally are going to want to watch that.
So
That's one of
as
those.
as a fighter myself, it's gonna come down to mentality and how they take a punch.
Boom, yeah. Like one guy just throws a good punch right off
100%.
the bat, the other one's screwed.
Yeah,
Like
and if
until you
you're
get punched
okay
in the
with getting
face, man,
hit in the face,
a couple
because a lot of
times.
people can't handle that. Yeah, you gotta be
Boom.
okay being uncomfortable and being hit in the face.
Smacked in
Like
the.
you gotta be
Oh.
able to shake it off. Because if you can't, you're just gonna get just kept get blasted. So it's gonna come
Uh,
down to that
that's
If
for
they
awesome.
get
sure.
outside the first round, it's just going to be awkward though. So you're hoping for something short.
they're exhausted. They're probably
Don't need them
exhausted.
sparring.
If the, even if the first round's like 3 minutes, they're gonna be dead.
So
That
one
fighting
thing that
cardio
we
is on a
one
whole
thing that
nother
we
level.
don't have for AFSA is like our press passes or media passes or anything. Who can we hook up with that? You gotta
I will get you in contact with the person who'll have that
That'd be
info.
awesome.
Okay.
That'd be a huge step. Just
Glad
so
Yeah,
you
we
thought
just
about
for
so we
that.
can
sure.
take videos and stuff and not get in trouble. And
I
Brian,
will.
what's your fighting background? Brian will whoop your ass. That's why I bring him around with me. He's my bodyguard.
Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, did MMA, Muay Thai. I went professional in boxing. Got 2 bronze medals in
Damn.
the boxing in Georgia,
Holy shit. Yeah, so don't be messing with me, all right?
and then a little while as a nightclub bouncer.
Yeah, that's where you learn the good shit, right?
Up until about 2 months ago. Yeah, 3 months ago. Once I got married, I was getting suited up. I got my clothes on, I put my mouthpiece in my back pocket, and then my wife, she was like, "Nope, you're done." Because the big problem at the nightclub is I can handle the person like in front of me. It's just the two buddies behind me that I can't see.
Oh
And
yeah.
on a busy night, everybody's busy. It's not like I can have backup. So
Sheesh, you
I
got them
stopped.
paws. That's what I'm saying. It's my bodyguard right there. Don't mess with me. If you see me out,
I love it. I love it. So my son,
what's
my
up, Wayne?
son is he's about to start boxing. So I'm gonna get back in there and start not boxing but wrestling. I don't I don't not I don't want my son to get into boxing because I have issues with the sunlight from TBI, from concussions, from getting hit in the face. My nose is all jacked up with from getting broken all the time. So it's not there's real
Oh, I didn't see George in
consequences.
here. What's up, Sprinkler fam? The Latinas be
So
getting you in
Joshua,
trouble, my boy. Be
what's
ready.
your what do you do now for AFSA, and then how did you get there? Because that's
Yeah,
quite an achievement.
it's it's been an interesting path. So I'm currently the manager of technical engineering and technical training. So kind of well, a lot of training development, implementing where we're building a lab. So implementation and tying that into our training, revamping the training, um, some of the convention stuff in terms of the training aspect of that, as well as sitting on some of the NFPA committees. Um, to get here, I actually grew up in the firehouse. My grandfather was a deputy chief in Newport, Rhode Island, so I grew up around the firehouse, and he retired really young and well, but he'd throw his back out all the time, right? So I started thinking in high
Oh
school like
yeah.
I want to do that, but it beat you up. Um, so I ended up injured, and I was gonna try to go that path still and figure things out, but my injury wouldn't let me get into hands-on trade stuff or some of my other paths that were using my hands. So I started looking up this fire protection thing. I'm like, I want to save lives, help people, but so started looking into schools. Ended up doing a couple of years of school down in Florida, and then I landed on Oklahoma State. They had a full riser lab and just fell in love with it.
Oh wow.
So jumped on that, got a bachelor's in that. Out of school, I went into the insurance industry, which is weird. It
Yeah.
was just kind of an interesting thing that I fell on, right? Because I was working in, I did some volunteer fire service through there, but I was working EMS. And so just, I was too busy for the internships and things like that. So I fell into this insurance job, and it was a risk engineer. So property risk engineer, large property, commercial property. And my job was basically to go out and do a full hazard analysis, fire sprinkler system analysis, inspection, right? Go out and make sure all the control valves are in good shape. The valves are going to work. Quick opening devices were in good shape. So I did that for a little bit. Met my wife, who was in a different location. So I took a step back, went back on the ambulance for a bit, and somebody
Wow.
reached out from one of the sprinkler manufacturers, and I got into training. So hands-on lab, did a bunch of training. Then got called with an opportunity about potentially building a lab and helping out and training, and this is where I've landed. So unique, didn't come from the field. Kind of wish sometimes I did, but it takes all different experience to make this stuff work. So it's been fun.
Yeah, that's quite the journey, man.
How yeah, it is. So I'm just gonna ask kind of where AFSA. So part of the a lot of conversations that we have with other guys on this show is and people just messaging on the DMs, like
Yeah.
on Instagram. They hit us up daily. Me and I think I have about three a day, and I'm sure Bobby at this point has way more than I do. But they're wanting to get training,
Yeah.
and they just like the guy in Kentucky that I talked to today. They're gonna send him down here to Peerless Pump in Georgia for some training. But how do you have y'all talked about making it more accessible or
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
to be completely honest, that's why I jumped on board. When you look at our mission, the mission statement, and I know that ties to a lot of business things, and sometimes people get lost in that, but it's straightforward. It's we're here to be the voice of the merit shop contractor, as well as provide training to protect lives and property. Right,
Let's
that's our job.
go. That's awesome. Tommy, you
So,
absolutely?
paying attention, Tommy? Tommy was asking me this
um,
recently.
so if your company, this is one thing I don't think a lot of people notice. If your company's a member, which a lot of companies are, like
Oh,
we've got
for
a deep
sure.
membership, then you're a member. Your job is to get on the website and create an account, and
Huh.
then you get access to our. We've got free webinars. If you need CEUs, you pay a fee, right, for that cost and that administration, but it's not that of a non-member. Things that you get access to. So it's a great question. On top of the training, we've got a staff. I put our technical staff up toe to toe with anybody in the industry. We got two PEs, right? We've got John Denhart. He's the vice president of engineering technical services. He's a Maryland graduate, so he covers that basis of experience and learning out of Maryland. Kevin Hall, and we've got Victoria Valentine, who came from Worcester Polytech. Um, then we've got Bob and technical trainer Eric, and this team is just phenomenal. We have a service to our members that if you have a question on the standard or your process, we can give you a technical answer based on our experience, as well as the knowledge on how things were written. We can't speak for NFPA, of course, in their technical committee, but it's just such a deep knowledge that we have, and we love doing it.
That is
So
awesome.
that's and you can also go. I mean, if your company's not a member, I don't know this. I'm not the big numbers guy with that stuff, but there's individual fees, and I'm a big advocate. Like I've heard Brian say a few times, like go get it. Like it's only going to help you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
And
learning
pay for
something
it.
about your craft.
You pay for it.
Right.
So yeah, you paying for the certifications. I know I say this almost every episode, but it career wise or position wise, where you are with the company that you work for, it puts you in a great positioning, at positioning as in bargaining. Because if the company sends it to you and you ask for a raise, well, we just spent this money on this and this and this, and then
You already have
also
it.
they expect you not to leave too because they've put all this money into you. But if you go and you get the certifications, they see initiative, they see drive, they see that that you are willing to put in all this work and you become way more valuable. And if you ask for a raise, you spend the money. I mean, it puts you in a great position. And
For
it's
sure.
not a
And
lot.
there's so many certifications too. I think you hit a point and you have these paths, but uh, Bobby, I'm sure you can talk to this. Like fitting's tough on your body over time, and I would love to do it
It's a lot
forever,
of up and
but
down the ladder. Like you're up and down the
yeah,
ladder a lot. Like you figure, anyone who, if you've never done up and down the ladder, if you've done like the Stairmaster, I mean, like that's what people are doing, and you're carrying weight, and you're going up there, and you go up there, and you friggin' forgot something. You got to go back down and get something else. And like I work with an old guy, and he says you only get so many trips up the ladder, kid. Stop forgetting shit. Or like if you put like a coupling on the ground, he'll be like, I only have so many bend overs left in my life. Stop putting stuff on the ground. But then if I could add to what you said about just getting the license, did I ever tell you how I got my OSHA 30? Do you have OSHA 30?
No, I have OSHA 10.
So up here to be a foreman, they want you to have OSHA 30. And when I first got in the union, like that was my big thing, is I wanted to be a foreman again. Because when I was in the non-union, they pulled me from a foreman position. So the stipulations were there was like three of us in this group chat with the boss, and he said, we all wanted to run work, and he said the first one to finish their OSHA 30 gets to run this job in Waltham. And if anyone, all you guys follow me on social media, you'll see when I drive by this job in Waltham, I usually always take a video of it because it means a lot to me. But that second I got that text, I went right on Google, and literally within probably 10 minutes, I was working on my OSHA 30 after that text. right on my phone. And if anyone's taking OSHA 10 or OSHA 30, you know, like that, you're doing 30 hours. There's no skipping through it.
Yeah.
There's no fast forwarding. And another thing you know is that like I can operate with very little sleep. So I kept that thing open. Like I was, and I don't recommend this, and I was young and I was eager, but I did it while I was driving. I had that thing open until it was done. Like I think it took me 31 hours to finish it.
Jeez,
And
dude.
so like as soon as I finished it, screenshot, sent it, and like done. Like these guys were like, man, I was gonna do it this weekend. But that just goes to
Well, I
show,
have a
like
similar
I just bought
story
that thing and
too.
just did it. It was like
Knock it out.
the best hundred in I think it was 120 bucks or something. It was the most
Nothing.
$120 I ever
When was the last
spent.
time you spent that kind of money on anything? You
But I
know?
did learn a lot of like nonsense in that. I'm not gonna lie. Like just stuff that like
Yeah.
you'll never do. Like a big section about scaffolding. Like I'm never gonna be assembling scaffolding. Like that's not. I'm not specialized in like a scaffold builder. Like I'll you know. There's a lot in there of stuff that I mean I guess it's good to know, but you don't necessarily utilize everything in that.
Well, I got sent to do. I volunteered, and I went to go do a military job. Oh, thank you. A military job, and geez, could you give me a bigger cup?
He's got a Zool on in there though. You're
Need
good.
OSHA 30
Yeah,
to turn
yeah.
out of the 669. Yeah, that's good. I like that the
So,
unions are doing that. The unions are giving the kids
so,
OSHA 30 before they graduate. I say
oh,
kids,
that's good.
apprentices.
So I
It's
was
all
at
good.
the military contract, and I'm getting all my badges, and then I get an email saying that I had to get put my OSHA 10 number in there. And I was like, I don't have one. So I had to finish it before work. I already drove 5 hours to the military base. And then so I went back to the hotel and I just sat there all night. And then I don't think
Next.
I was able to sleep. I
Next.
wasn't able to sleep. Yeah.
It has like a
So
timer on it before you can hit next.
yeah, so that was a long day because I stayed up all night doing that. And then I worked at 5 a.m. I had to be on base at 4:30. It was tough, but hey, man, when you got to get something done, you get it done. I think
Do it.
one of the problems is people put things off. For example, with Azul with Fire, with Azul Coffee Company, right? So we started it, and then it kind of coasted for a little bit. Like we had to be like, all right, we're doing meetings every week, and it started at 2 times a week, and every meeting has to have growth.
You just got to do it.
You have to make things happen because if you're like, "Oh, I'm not good to it," you'll never get to it.
Yeah, I'm guilty
Never.
of
After that, I'll showing up, right?
I'm guilty of procrastinating sometimes. You
Yeah,
like push it off until you have to do it, and then you do it quickly, or like you're like I should have just did this, days ago when I first thought of it.
that's why accountabilities are partners are so important. Like when you're going through like AA or something like that, you have an accountability partner, and that's that's one of the reasons why too.
They shut.
I mean, I guess it's human nature to procrastinate.
Yeah, like if you got a couple days to do something, like you think about when we were in school and they give you like you have the whole summer to do like read a book or whatever, and you read it like in the last week of summer,
Yeah,
right? These guys came to the job site. They're starting this new job site. We're putting up a temp standpipe for it. NFPA 241. Try to put up a standpipe to protect the building that's monitored. And on the day, then they get us all donuts and they have a little seminar. And these guys came out and they were they're like union sponsored, but you can if you have any type of trouble, you can go to these guys and they will help you with your union benefits without um, notifying your union without like throwing you under the bus. So if you had like a drug problem, you could go to these guys and you could go through all the programs or whatever, and you wouldn't like be blackballed as if like you got caught doing drugs in the early 2000s, you'd never work on the job again. And now with drugs and alcohol and the mental health thing, and these guys were they were pretty cool talking about like if if you have suicidal things or if like something's going on at home with your kid and you just they it was like someone to talk to. That's like the first time I've seen something like that on the job. Where
That's
there was
great.
they had one guy from the carpenters local, one guy from the laborers local, the Teamsters guy was there, and it was pretty cool to see them on the job and show a
that's
little bit of
incredible.
compassion for the roughneck blue collar guys that want to stuff everything down and not talk about it.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Well, I mean, they cover it up with alcohol and other things.
Yep. So that was
Even the person
pretty
who
cool.
finds like Yeah, I think that's awesome. So Joshua, you were talking about um training
Our training.
and everything. What is how
So,
many states are y'all in now? And then what is your goal, let's say for like the next couple of years, even 3 years to 5 years? Have y'all
so I
looking to
mean,
expand or
our goal is right now we're kind of in that stage of growth. So I'm super excited for it. We've split some of our programs up. On the training end, we've got some longer term programs to help people who aren't necessarily the best test takers, on top of getting people who don't know what a sprinkler is and getting them to that NICET 2 point or whatever that state requires. So we've got that for ITM. Just came out with a virtual instruction program. So it's the apprenticeship program and curriculum. However, it introduces the apprentice to subject matter experts
whoa.
on our
And
end.
how
And
so?
how so?
In what
We
way?
teach some of those lessons through your apprenticeship because you got your the book stuff you've got to cover, and rather than you do that in the shop, even though you're still going to have to get your hands on stuff done, we give a Zoom space just like this where we're going to hit the topics and the modules and go from there. And we break it up, right? It's not just me speaking. It's not just one of my coworkers, but we get people from the industry to come talk.
Is this something kind of like the virtual thing? Is that something similar to Fire Tech and what they're offering in a way?
I can't really speak to theirs. I don't know enough about their program.
Okay.
But I mean, of course, it's a push from COVID, right? We realized, and also with new people coming in, and just people don't learn the way they used to.
That is true.
I'm
I
an
would love to
AFSA
try y'all's
apprentice.
virtual class and check that out. I think that would be awesome.
Florencio
AFSA
says
apprentice.
he's an AFSA apprentice in the chat.
So I don't
And
know
by
how.
the way, guys, if you are, if you're watching and listening, Fire Tech's their program is really good. A lot of guys have passed their nice sets because of Fire Tech. The best thing about it too is you can do it multiple times, so you can just do it over and over and over and over.
And so to that, our layout's similar. You got your modules, and you get
Right.
plenty of practice questions. And but I don't know how I missed this. You asked about convention, and one of the biggest key parts, and I appreciate our apprentice in the chat bringing it up, is during your expo portion, there's going to be a live competition. We got an
Oh,
Whoa.
apprenticeship
Yeah.
competition going. They're going to be on the front end. You might not see them that much because they're also going to be doing this certification stuff, right? So they're going to have a test. They're going to have to take a test, but they're also going to start hanging pipe
what
and
day is
lay out a
that? What day
system.
is the
Yeah,
apprentice competition?
That's
you
sick.
see when that happens.
Because I am there. I want to root.
How many? Is there one winner?
Can we bet on them?
Yes, one
Are we
winner.
allowed to gamble on
Oh,
this?
dude, we gotta.
Not gonna. I'm
I'm
gonna
just
stay out of
kidding. You
that,
don't have
bro.
to. You don't have to answer.
Hey,
You don't have to answer.
Bobby,
Yeah.
we gotta get together. We gotta get a box together, some shirts, some hats,
Give it to the
get him some
winner.
socks, huh?
Socks? Yeah.
Yeah, give him a
Dirty
pair of
socks or
socks,
dope and tape socks?
So
dope and tape socks. Unless he wants to pay more for it, then they can be dirty.
I'm seeing
Wear them.
Saturday 12:30 to 3:30 is the apprenticeship competition final.
Oh, we'll
The
be
Saturday,
the
there.
nine.
12:30 to
So it's on the back
3:30.
end.
12:30 to 3:30 on Saturday?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm in there like swimwear. We are going to that.
So
I'm rooting on.
Yeah.
I'm finding
Winner's gonna
somebody.
get some dope and tape swag.
You heard
let's
it here.
go. Let's go. Some stickers. Just keep the stuff off the booth.
Let's go, right?
I don't know what you do outside Hogsmeade,
We're
but
gonna sticker the whole place. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have my little. I'm gonna have my little wand too. My little. I'm gonna take my kid's
You're
wand.
gonna bring it with you?
but I mean, we're really ramping up. I guess back to that other point, we're ramping up training. We're splitting even 2 and 3 day classes. Once we get our lab rolling, we're gonna have 18, 24 risers, fire pump, sprinklers that spray, hydrants, standpipes, and
Oh,
it's that's where we're headed.
I see you, Florencio. I
So
didn't realize that Florencio said that way up there. Apprentice competition. I can't see every
Lorenzo
comment,
keeping me
bro.
honest.
You guys are popping off. I'm trying to talk to my boy right here. Bobby would be standing on the sideline like an NFL scout with a notebook. That's it.
Yeah.
Awesome cast, y'all. You can't buy this knowledge. Well, I appreciate that. We're just trying to bring like-minded individuals together from, all aspects of this industry. I'm
Hey
trying to
guys, if
bet
y'all
on
have some
apprentices.
questions,
We're gonna get some bets going on these kids. I got a,
yeah.
I got a 65 on phase 1 exam. What's that?
Oh,
not
If
good?
y'all have
DraftKings
any
is
questions, please ask.
I didn't make the
DraftKings
cut.
is legal in Florida, right?
Oh yeah, gambling,
Apprenticeship.
yeah.
Yeah, gambling is legal.
Dope and tape
So I
swag.
got something that's about to stir y'all up, though. I
Yep.
want to show you something that an association can offer. And I've heard it come up, and I know what the answer is, but just to tee it up, dope before tape, tape before dope, dope or tape. What is it, bro?
It's dope and then tape, 100% every time.
So I'm gonna
Because like let's say you have your apprentice down there just making nipples, right? And then that pipe's gonna sit for a little while. Like it's not sitting nice and pretty because you have the tape over the dope, so you don't get dope all over the
Keeps it a
place.
little moist under there.
And if you do it the other way, dope gets freaking everywhere. And then when it gets everywhere too, it doesn't have anything to hold it together. So then the tape gets unwound, and it's just a bad move.
So then, Bobby, you say you had a mentor, right, that would tell you something, unlike the other mentors.
Yeah, so I mean, like, my father just always used dope and tape, and I think a lot of guys they adopted when tape came out because it was always dope for a long time, the old timers, and
Right.
then like when tape came out, they seen it as like an increased cost, so they didn't want to use both. So some guys kind of went down this, all right, well this new tape came out, I'm only going to use tape. And then like some guys said, well they've been using dope since the beginning of time. And then just a select few of us decided to put both of them and then argue about the order of it. And I've just like from my experience, kind of to add to what Brian said, is that it's a little bit more clean. And bro, I never had leaks. I never have leaks.
Oh, I never had leaks either.
So I'm gonna go your mentor route, though. What does 13 say about it?
13, well, in the version that we are implementing up here in Massachusetts, it doesn't say anything about it yet.
So when you search tape besides heat tape in 13, and I'm just pulling the 2022 edition,
Yep,
I'm going to read you what
Is
it
it
says
R or
verbatim,
I
13?
know. People
Is
send
it
me
It says
screenshots of
13,
this all the time.
right? So
13?
joint compound or tape shall be applied only to male thread. So I can look at this at two different directions. It's saying that if you're going to apply one or the other, we're going male thread, but it also just says joint compound or tape.
Joint compound
So
or tape.
us being the
Oh,
voice of the association,
You're gonna
I don't
go hard on
think
that or.
the committee means this, right? Like, I don't think that they mean or in the second manner that I said. I'm not sure though. So what we can do is submit a public input, which I'm gonna let you know that anybody can, right? But we know the process and we've been there, so we can help with this, or we can help you through this. But I've already put something in. Um, I say that. However, this is 2023. I think this is for the 2026, the
Yeah.
2025 edition, right?
Yeah.
right.
But we're gonna submit something. We're gonna see what they mean by it.
I've seen
And sometimes,
screenshots where people are telling
so
me that the new
Yeah.
edition's only one or the other. It's gonna be one or the other.
so
But I would
we'll
never
see.
just do one or the
I think
other.
the
I
big
would I
You,
would
concern,
feel
well, you got to follow the code, Bry.
but
sufficient. No,
I
no,
don't
you
know if
don't.
Yeah.
that's the thing is that this is super gray, and I'm not gonna say one way or the other. I want to know what the committee, and there's a lot of experience on the committee, what they say. But seeing stuff like this makes it difficult when you do read it as a contractor. So let's get this clarified, and that's how we're the voice as well.
I just want to see an
Right?
and in there, right? And the order.
Yeah,
We're gonna put it. The order
And
doesn't
but what
matter.
just put
The order
if they
shall. The
could put
order
if
shall
they could
not
put that in
matter.
13, dope and then tape, like that would be everything.
Can we
so
get
That would
our
I'll
be
Can
change
we
awesome.
my
get our logo
input.
next to it?
We'll strike out joint compound and put dope in
Dope. Yeah. Right.
and tape.
That's it. So I think that the
I would
big
I would get a screenshot, like I would get that printed of that paper and then highlight it and then have it on a T-shirt of just dope and
epic.
tape.
We just need a
Of the
special
input
Yeah,
edition.
from the NFPA website right
yeah,
there. Yeah, yeah.
So
exactly.
the huge concern is that you'll make it in too far. I think that a lot of people will say, and the feedback is that if you have dope and tape, you could like wrench it in indefinitely and make your own. Like you could just keep wrenching, but you should know your own strength. You really only
Yeah.
want to make it in. You only want to make it in to make in. You don't want to be going past make in, and you don't want to stop short. And as the sprinkler fitter, you should know when that is. So
And
So how
I'll
do
take it
you
from a
know?
manufacturer standpoint though too, is sometimes when you end up with too, and I know this is an application thing, right? Too much dope and tape, that's where you end up long term with your leaks. So let's see what the committee says.
let's
I
see what.
don't
Yeah, let's see what they say. That's great. Thank you for submitting that. And
know.
Yeah,
having
yeah,
dinner and watching the show.
that's
Let's
cool.
go. I love that. Appreciate that.
But
Dope
like
before tape.
the code said, even if the code said either or and not both, like it says and not both, I would feel
I think I might have
how
to might put my foot down and go verse them. We're gonna go
I would have to
But
verses.
fight
you
the
can
system, man.
We're gonna
you
fight
can
it.
read it in both ways though. So this is all an interpretation thing. So it's
Either
interesting, but those are the
or, but
conversations
that's
that
the
we
same thing
have.
against both.
And I think we're on yeah over 45 committees, right, doing stuff like this to try to get some of these details that could make your headache. Even though I know Bobby's in Boston, you're not going to see 2025 for
Right? Yeah, I know.
for a
Like,
long time.
what? Yeah, that's another thing is
Yeah.
that what? Why are we all implementing the same year? Like up in Canada, aren't they doing like
Yeah,
2012 and like over here's implementing that? Like what?
Whoa.
Like
We are
let's
on
all like next
15.
year we're all gonna just do 2022. Everybody,
yeah.
worldwide. What's the problem? Why
It's
can we put that as a
too much
question?
legislation.
How
Not
who do
not
we
too much
need to put their
legislation.
foot down to say nation country worldwide,
That is
nationwide,
true.
everybody? Like we're all going to
And the
implement
same system
2022 at the
too.
same time. Everyone's going to start obliging by NFPA 241 to a T. Um, that's
There's
like
too much
Tagging
that is
legality.
system,
that is bread and butter
certifications, it
work.
should be
Yeah,
national.
NFPA 241. Every sprinkler fitter would love to do that work. It is such good work.
I agree. That's what
And
we're out here pushing.
like what like only I don't know, and only some of us are doing it. How could I forget my
But
company as an apprenticeship competition champion, Matt Tyre from Titan Fire
let's
2021.
go.
Let's go. Driving home now. Listening to dope, watching dope and tape. Well, focus. Listen, he's listening to dope and tape. He's not
Yeah.
watching while he's driving. Dope
I know you can
and
see what's going on in that edition, though. That's one thing that people don't notice. If you get into NFPA 13, and then slash whatever standard. So let's say we're talking 25. You want to see what's going to go into 25. Their meetings are in October. Their process is you get your public inputs, and then we go into draft cycle. If you put in nfpa.org/25 next, you can look at those reports. You log into your system, and you can see what's coming down the pipeline, and then it's open for public comment after that, right? So you can actually say, I don't think this is a good idea. It's got to be dope and tape, right?
Yeah.
And go through that stuff. And I think a lot of people, especially as we start early in our careers in this industry, a lot of past, you don't realize that this is a public process. Everybody can get on there, see what's coming in 2025,
boom.
2028.
So I think this is the plan: is if they try to put their foot down and tell us one or the other, I'm gonna get that link. I'm gonna share it to my story, and everybody is gonna go and let them know that we're doing dope and tape.
Yeah. Everybody
Everybody,
send them
So the
huh?
processes work.
letters
That's
and
it.
That
Yeah, we're
emails.
gonna flood the emails. If you're forced to only use one, what are you using? I don't. That's like one of them questions that I don't like,
See, that's why I don't think that that's what
Tommy.
they meant.
You can't force me. Who's forcing me?
Right.
You gonna come out and force? What
They're
are you gonna
saying
do?
either or, and
You're
then
gonna
the
have to
gray
get through
area is
Brian to
both.
get to
Yeah.
me, right? I'm gonna be putting dope and
Right.
tape on in the background, and Brian's gonna just be standing there bodyguarding me.
With a smile, like, come on,
When the
come on.
threads are tight,
You know
dope
you want
tape,
to
and
taste.
then dope on top makes it slide like butter. Ooh, he's doing the dope tape dope. I did that in the beginning for a long time.
I
So
did
then,
too, but it just kind of made it slower, and
It's
then
messy.
also it was just messy. Yeah, that's the thing. Like eventually, like I had a reel where I tested the backflow, and I was in dress clothes, like slacks, dress shirt, and everything. And then I got an impact, and well,
You
let's
were
see, I took
dressed
a
up working?
dude. I was dressed up working. I got the drill out. I
You gotta
changed the
reshare that for the
backflow.
people to see after this.
All right,
We want to see
and
this.
then took it apart and everything clean. Like it's important to stay clean. And I think if you're just like dope and everything, you have that junk all over
How
you,
many
you
years did it
know?
take you to learn that though? Like I was a dirty apprentice. Like I would just be like, I'd be
Dude, I
covered
was
and
dirty for
my arms would all be dirty. I would have
yeah,
it like all everything. And now I can like we demoed pipe
everywhere.
today, and I don't even get anything on my clothes. I'm
I
demoing
would say
old
it,
nasty
it
pipe.
wasn't like I was probably dirty for 5 years.
Yep, I feel the same way. As soon as
And
they
then it
showed
got
us
to
the
where
pipe
I
that
would
we had
look
to
at people and
demo,
like, what are you doing? Why are you so dirty?
he showed us the pipe we had to demo right off the bat, and then they were gonna go show us a couple other things. And I said, "Oh, hold on, let me grab a broom." And I grabbed a broom and a ladder, and I just took the broom and I dusted all the pipe off that we had to demo, and let all the dust fall down while we went and looked at the other stuff. So when we came and I took the pipe down, it didn't all fall down my neck. These are the things you learn, and you get dirty a couple times, and you're like, "This sucks. I
not
don't
do it
want to be
again.
all dirty." And I got an hour ride home, and I just gotta like sit here in filth. AFSA publishes this thing called Sprinkler Age Magazine. It's lit, bro.
It's free too. It's free.
It's free, informative, and
Yeah.
and resourceful, and I recommend y'all look it up. I do underground fire suppression, and 90% of our nipples were made up days before the job, so dope than tape is a no-brainer. That's it.
But underground, like underground piping?
I do
That was he
underground
saying?
fire suppression.
They did wood too. We ain't hanging that.
Yeah, underground
Yeah, back
fire
in the day.
suppression. What are you
So I
doing
But
got
on
a
mute,
question
bro?
I'll
for our
switch up
underground guy.
the topic a little bit because I know you got 25 people in here too.
Oh yeah.
So you do your trip test and you get your fluid delivery time. And what happens if you're over 60 seconds or for your standard
You add another
Well,
situation?
head,
when you say standard,
right? Can
I
you add
like
another
that
head?
idea.
I did that before. I added another head,
Depends on what. Yeah, it depends on how they did the test. Yeah, yeah.
right?
well,
It's
how
But
about this? In there, in the 25 for the delivery test for the time, they want you to compare it against the initial acceptance test. Bro,
right,
no one ever has that.
that's true.
Like, good
So
freaking luck.
new 13, it looks like not 100% sure, but it looks like we're gonna have like the alarm cabinet. That's for new installs.
Okay.
So hopefully that can fix things. It works on alarms. Why shouldn't it work for us? But to your point, you have to compare back and then you have to do an obstruction investigation. It's not a failed test. But what happens if your 60 seconds was 45 seconds run? We've been getting 60 for years. And in the standard, it doesn't mention anything, but that tells me there's a volume issue. We could have corrosion. Our pipe could be frozen. So some of those things that we look into to try to make it
There's
better, make it
also
easier to
pressure
use.
loss. You have to look at the gauges and
Yeah.
seeing if it's
Could be
dropped
water
in.
supply, but
Right.
it could be because the pipes, it's a 4 inch, but it's only 2 inches now with corrosion.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right. It's all
So
get all
Definitely.
mick in there and all.
There's a lot that goes into it, like even with the gauges, and then the trip time. You check the last 2 years. You were supposed to compare the last 2 years as well as the initial.
yeah,
But you
And
don't have access to the initial.
no, no, no,
Yeah,
they
why
never
would you
do.
have access to the initial if it's
And
years
then
later?
let me ask
13
this
says you
for the
shall have it.
guys who are. I wonder if we have any inspectors in the chat room. Like, when was the last time you did a full trip and then asked the customer for the last 2 years,
I will say that to
or
your point,
or the
who asked,
Well, shouldn't the tag still be on there
yeah.
from the
right?
last 2 years?
Well, yeah. So, but here's the thing: it's a trip, so it's 3 years prior and then 6 years prior. So that tag has to have all that information on there
It has to still be there, and hopefully some ass didn't rip it
and still
off
be
and
there.
put his on there.
Right.
I hate that.
Or it just disappears. I love that one too.
Yeah, like
Like, that's why I tell customers to buy the plastic tags. Get the plastic tags and then write on there with a Sharpie because it lasts a lot longer. And write information. Do not be the guy that puts C report on there. Like, give the guy a little
See
bit of
previous report.
information. Like,
And I want to admit something. If all of your static pressures have been 74 for the last 3 years, somebody's gonna look into it.
right?
yeah.
It fluctuates. Time of
It's,
day, Oh, he's in coal mines.
but
Okay,
Coal mines.
underground fire suppression. Okay, so that makes sense. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, the only way
I
that's
have
possible is
so many questions. I want you to come on the show because I want to know more
Well,
about that. That's something I don't
Dawn
know
was talking
anything
about
about.
that.
for
Coma,
sure,
like,
Yeah.
dude,
there's
I
a
want
lot
to
we can
go
get
down.
to
I
into
want
this.
to go down there and take some videos.
The plus
So
side to our
check this
training
out.
too is
So
we bring those updates into our training, right? So you know what's coming down the pipeline, whether or not you're adopted,
Right.
just so you can have that in your
I
head.
like that. I like knowing the new stuff, but then
yeah,
all of a
Good
sudden, like,
stuff.
we're working off like NFPA 2004 instead of 2022. I don't
yeah.
understand.
How about 1980?
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like some states are
That's
working off of
crazy.
that. They're like, yeah, we just implement
That's
1980. We don't have to do anything new, so you don't need sprinklers.
And now in those areas where they have the like, coal mines, I don't know for sure what they have there, but like in the areas where there's nothing around, right? And they have a low water supply, they have the way they do like their, let's say, fire pump is they have this big sphere and there's a bladder inside the sphere. And
Oh,
then there's a air pump that like a compressor that compresses the water in there and it just builds up pressure on
a
like a
pressure tank.
pre-action.
Yeah.
Right. And then the head goes off and all that pressure pushes the water. So you have a quick burst of water because the air is back in it and then it goes to normal pressure.
Hmm.
That's how they do like a pump because you can't put in an electric pump because you do not have enough supply. It would drop
Right.
below 20%.
You can't mine
So that's
coal
what they
without
do.
fire
It's pretty
suppression.
cool.
Who the hell knew? That is sick. That's like a whole nother industry.
So I got a
I
question
would
for y'all.
imagine it's
What personal
what?
concerns do you have with the industry going forward, next 5, 10 years?
Yeah, community. And here's the big one. Here's
Community.
the big one. Lack of apprentices, young apprentices and available training.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem. You look at our
We got all
industry,
kinds of problems. I don't know if we have
it's
enough time.
Yeah.
mostly late 40s, 50s and up.
Yeah, it is though. It's
It
I want to
is.
see sprinklers in high schools, like right next to the plumbing
Yeah.
shop. Between the plumbing shop and the HVAC shop, I want to see a fire protection shop. Like which which shop are we not using? Which shop's not filling up? And then we can just get rid of that one and we're gonna add fire protection. Also, I'm
About
bothered about
prisons.
NFPA 241 and how like
Yeah.
why am I the only one that friggin' talks about it or has to follow the standards of it? And it's like nobody else does. I see they'll take a whole gridded ceiling down and people will just leave the pendants. And now you have completely hindered that entire building, its occupants, the whole space. The heads need to be spun up until the grid's there, and then when the
Yeah.
grid's you pipe the heads. As you pipe the heads, they got to close the ceiling back up.
So with
But
Um,
inspections here in Atlanta, we'll put that as a deficiency.
yeah,
And as
the interest.
well as fire marshals will flag it too. But they have to be caught pretty
yeah, you
much.
got to be caught. And then the other thing we are just talking about is like everybody just needs to, and I don't know how we do it, but like we all just need to implement the same year of NFPA. If everybody's on 2016, so be it. But like let's all be on the same one
And
worldwide.
that's what 25 was written that way. Like it doesn't have that grandfather clause. However, the state legislation and adoption doesn't allow that to work.
Oh, okay.
And
So
then on top of the legislation, I mean, me and you, people from New York, Atlanta now, but and like Vegas, I didn't even mention this, but a big thing that played into my sprinkler career was station nightclub fire, right?
right, yeah, Rhode
You
Island.
and if you think about Boston's history, there's fires for days. So they
Well,
started
Boston,
to
all
codify
of
then,
Boston burnt
right?
down in like the 1800s. Like the
Yeah.
whole Back Bay, like burnt, like the whole city burned at one point when it was
So
all wood
if
structure in Boston back in the day.
if the molasses tank would have spilled then it'd have been fine.
We would have been fine, yeah. We just need a
But
little more tea.
so
The Station nightclub was bad.
that was bad.
It
And
was terrible.
at that time, knew somebody. So my family had somebody in that. It's definitely a big push. But those jurisdictions will then concentrate on life safety. That one happened to change 101 and start to implement an FBA 101. But Boston's going to have its worries. But 241 is a no brainer. So it's interesting.
It is,
And
yeah. And I was telling Brian about it. If you're going to bid a new construction job, and you get like, because you have to, like we're putting in a standpipe right now, but they haven't awarded the sprinkler build out. So there's on the floors, no one's got a bid. The duct guys, the plumbers, no one's been awarded a bid, but we already got awarded to go and put the NFPA 241 plan in
yeah,
place with the temporary standpipe. Whereas like if you were to get the whole package and we knew we were going to do the sprinklers, we might be able to put that temp standpipe with permanent piping in its permanent position and maybe pipe over temporary. And you kind of like, 'cause now all this pipe's going to end up coming out
right.
because we don't know if it's in the right spot. It's definitely
Yeah.
not in the right spot. It's not designed. So I don't know. I want to see everybody doing that. But if Brian goes around bidding new construction jobs with the
Gonna
extra
lose it.
X amount of dollars to implement NFPA 241, they're going to be like, well, why are these guys not going to do it? We're going to go with them.
Yeah, they're gonna see an extra $6,000, $7,000. And they're
Yeah,
like, well,
Right.
I don't want
we
to go with
need
that
like the
guy.
firemen. Like we need, is it a fireman thing?
I think buy-in
Well,
and full
fire
understanding would be great.
the firefighters are not involved in any of the
Yeah,
construction
up here
or
they're
bidding
so
or anything like
involved.
that.
Like
That's
They
a
are, and I'm really impressed.
to get a building
that's unique.
permit,
Really impressed.
just to get your building permit, you gotta submit a NFPA 241 plan. You're not gonna get a sprinkler permit till both of those are accepted.
Hmm.
And then I think to your point about not enough people, and I brought this for a reason. This is a 1980 edition. Could fit in your back pocket. We've all heard about that. Our industry didn't really ramp up till the 70s. And if you think about that, NFPA 25 wasn't until 92. Well, that's been 30 years, 40 years. The people who have done this stuff and brought it to where it's at, about about time to retire. If not, they've already
if
retired.
not already
And
retired.
our backfill,
Well,
we need good trained people
that's the
to
thing.
backfill
That's
this.
one of our biggest things we talk about it all the time is the apprentices are getting older and older, and no one is signing up in our industry is old.
Well,
Not old,
and
but
the new
old. You know what I mean? Like,
the younger ones that are coming in are a little bit soft. They can't take that. It might be a little bit too abrasive or a little bit too abusive. I mean, that's, I was belittled as an apprentice once I wasn't
yeah.
with Pops
Oh,
anymore. Once I was
yeah. I
out of
don't
my
know if
father's
I
shield and I was
wanted
with
a
random
name.
old grumpy guys, like I was being belittled and they were like throwing shit at me and
Yeah.
like they were degrading you and like whatever. That's something with that now like this newer generation of people can't take that, so they leave and they go do something else where there's nicer people.
So we got to hit the schools, like you said. I think there's a big opportunity long term in the jails and prisons. There's a lot of job opportunities there. Um, but we just gotta be stuff like this, right? Be passionate, get
Passionate.
it out there, because once people fall into this trade, they love
Get
it. I haven't met
awesome.
someone who's fallen in
Yeah.
and is like,
We'll
"Hey,
get awesome guests like
done."
you, and
I
this
appreciate
is
that.
great. Yeah, I mean this is awesome having you on. Someone and like they love when we talk code and we talk about stuff like this. So we'll
Yeah,
definitely have to keep you coming on, get you as like a return guest, to have you back on in August or September.
sounds good. I talked to Bob too, so that's our president. He's all for this, so we can
Oh
also
wow. Yeah.
get him.
Awesome.
He's interested in setting up a time.
Will he be in Orlando?
Oh yeah,
Well, can we do it
We'd
in
love
person
him.
with him? You think?
we'll talk about it. I'm pretty sure you can,
Yeah,
but
I don't know what
Oh,
his
that's
schedule's like
awesome.
or
no,
whatever, but
yeah,
if he wants to
that's
give
a
us a
big thing to
20-minute
schedule a
slot,
convention.
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
could
We'll
do it in
make
person.
anything.
That'll be awesome. And I don't know
We'll
so
make
anybody
anything
else that you
work.
think that we could talk to in person down there. You want to set it up? We're open.
for sure, for
Um,
sure.
And do you have any advice for us? I mean, you've seen kind of what we've been doing. I mean, do you think we're missing anything?
No, I really think and honestly think that y'all are killing it, and it's fun to see. Um, I can't keep up with y'all's podcast. There's so much. You guys are pumping out content, so it's turned into my drive time. But
Yeah.
to see the growth already, and it's young still, right? So it's great.
Yeah.
And talking to trade, bringing in people that we need to talk to as an industry, is fantastic.
it's awesome.
So
We
it's good stuff.
appreciate that. That's
That's
great
awesome.
feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We work really hard. Like
Bob
we've been in
Caputo
this
is a
for
legend.
He's the man.
Yo,
He's fun,
Florencio loves you guys. Flo,
fun.
that's my dude. I always look at the historical reports to compare frequencies and make sure I'm conducting the proper inspection required at that time. Tom says that's why electronic reports are wonderful. I've always pulled the previous reports, even on a quarterly. It's good to know what was found there before.
And you got Drew Slocum, I think I heard, and you got Sean
Drew's,
Mahoney, right, from NFPA.
yep, so where are we? We got Chad on Tuesday, right?
Chad.
Bry?
yeah.
Chad
Yeah,
Davis.
that's right.
And then
So he's the
we have
operations
you
manager.
guys will see him on Instagram Redline. He's coming on and I believe it's Vincent on YouTube. Trying to remember both of those names. But then we have Drew Slocum coming on the 25th.
Yeah.
And
So
he's from the Fire
from Chad
Protection
on,
podcast. So that's going to be a great talk.
that's your lineup starting to get heavy. This is
It,
great.
and
Yeah, it
and
is
then we have
awesome.
Sean from NFPA coming on the 1st.
Sounds good too.
So other
Then
people
we
I
have
Good
got
some
stuff.
more,
I got scribbles
some
on the
firefighter
27th.
plays, and since we've had two back-to-back girls, like now girls are wanting to come on the show,
Yes,
For sure.
please.
which
That's
is
awesome.
awesome.
It promotes it. It's a good promotion. Women in the industry. We need more of
And
them.
the whole idea is the community. You know, that's why we're doing this.
That's great. Well, appreciate y'all having me on. I really do.
Yeah,
Man,
thank you
thank
for your
you.
time and thank you for coming on. Everybody
Yeah, and
that's
if you could
watching.
send me the information on the virtual training, I would love to look
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah, that's something I would love to share is that you can go to AFSA and you can do virtual training and you said like it's kind of like an apprenticeship.
It follows the apprenticeship curriculum
It
that we
follows
have.
the apprenticeship curriculum
Yeah.
and you can do
So
that right on afsa.com.
That'd be amazing
uh,
for companies to get that
firesprinkler.org.
assistance because
Firesprinkler.org.
part of it is with companies is time, and because anything with
Yeah,
time comes in labor, and then labor on the company needs to be tied to something. Like you can't just have free bench time
that's
any,
what costs, right?
so
Labor.
right. So if you have this program and it follows the apprenticeship program, you can eliminate that labor by one purchase of
Yeah,
not a lot of money. And it's a
and
great tool.
you can go both routes, right? So we have both options. You can take the curriculum like we've had AFSA's apprenticeship curriculum for a while, and we just updated it. And you can implement it yourself because if you got a lot of good trainers, bigger companies, this works great. However, sometimes your smaller contractors, like you said, time is labor. You could choose the other option, and we'll take that instruction port, at least that education port, off your portion off your list. So
That's awesome. That's a great
fun.
resource. I just learned something. It was pretty cool.
That is.
This was a great show. Don't forget to
Thank
hit
you
the
so
like button.
much.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget, we're going to still do a giveaway at 500 subscribers. We got 418 subscribers. That's crazy. In a short time since December, it's like Josh just said, this is still young. It's growing fast. Happy to be here.
Super young.
Appreciate
Yeah.
every one of you guys. Flo,
Brian, watch out hiking.
he says, I love y'all.
Yeah.
Heavy hitters.
Yes.
Appreciate you, man.
No more tickets.
All the coal miners are older, grumpy guys. I bet. Way down underground.
Do you blame them?
Sprinkler fitters working in a coal mine are coal miners. You have to be MSHA certified in every state. So you're a sprinkler fitter and you're a coal miner. That's pretty badass.
Oh.
I like
Are they
that.
prevailing wage in
Hey, you
coal
get paid
mines?
more down there? It's got to be like way better pay than being on the
I'm
ground,
sure
right?
hazard pay, prevailing wage, maybe might be government funded in a way.
Or do you get the same
With all
sprinkler?
that,
You get the same sprinkler check if you were up in the what do you call it? Ground level? Sea
It'd
level?
be so bad for my pale skin.
come
It's
on.
crazy. Well, Dawn said it took half an hour to get down there.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, that's what she said. It took a half an hour to get down to the mine. Like you were in like a car, like a elevator or something. I don't know. We didn't get enough info out of her.
And then after a bad day of
Half an
work, you
hour.
trip the wrong valve and you go up and there's a grizzly bear at the
Paul
top.
Paul's World. Paul's World. You
Yeah.
want to come on the show and talk about being a coal miner, sprinkler fitter? Would love to have you on. I want to say the 27th is open. I scribbled a bunch of stuff in here. But if it's scribbled out, then it means that it's open. Paul's World, whether you like it or not, it's going to be July 27th, all right? Same time right now, same place. Thank you.
Go ahead and book it.
Yeah, I wrote it down, so you're in. You can't say no. Don't even think about
You're
saying no.
coming.
All right, it was awesome. Oh, you said yes. I knew you would.
Oh, good, because you didn't have a choice.
You didn't have a choice, Paul.
I said yes about a minute ago.
All right, this is awesome, and we look forward to seeing you in Orlando, man. That's freaking crazy.
Sounds good.
We're gonna have a great time. Thank you for coming on, everybody.